Hey, and welcome to Turo Fitness Podcast, a podcast for people who want to get no BS information about fitness and know that fitness is about so much more than losing scale weight. It's about feeling confident in your skin and empowered in your life. I'm your host, Turo Virta, personal trainer, strength and nutrition coach, and most of all, a husband of my beautiful wife, Miriam. Each week, my guests and me will give you some no BS fitness tips and motivate you to take action in your own personal fitness journey as we talk about nutrition, exercise, mindset, personal development, and executing in life with enjoyable but still effective strategies. If your goal is to look better, feel and be strong and experience transformation from inside out, you, my friend, are in the right place. Thank you for jumping in, and now let's jump into today's episode. Hey, and welcome to the Turo Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Turo, emotional eating and strength coach. I'm here to help you build a strong body and a healthy relationship with food without all or nothing rules or guilt. Today, we are diving into a topic that often gets overlooked when it comes to fat loss, emotional eating, and cravings, and that's sleep. So if you have ever told yourself, why do I crave sugar late at night? Or why does my willpower disappear when I'm tired? This episode is for you. So this is something sleep is something that earlier I wasn't too much aware. I was kind of thinking that it's important, but I didn't understand how important it actually is until I started to prioritize it. And there are so many ways that I felt the difference. But in this episode, I'm going to tell you like what is actually science behind and why it's actually why it matters more than you think. And but before getting into that, I want to share a little bit of my own story. Like it might sound that I'm getting older. It was for me something that when I started to prioritize my sleep, I was like, am I already really that old that I need to I need to prioritize my sleep? And because when I was younger, of course, it was like that. Sleep is not so important. It's okay to stay long awake, past over midnight every day, sleep longer or get up. You can survive with a little bit less sleep, and which is kind of true. You can survive, and especially when you are younger, you don't understand it. Like you don't feel it that same way than when you are older. Like when you get older, or when you are old, I don't know, depending. Like I don't think that it's only in your mind, and the age is just a number. And of course, like some certain things you have to, I call it like that, you get wiser, you start to pay more attention of small things, what actually improves. Because earlier, like I said, you get rid of basically everything. If you like, it doesn't make that big difference. And now when getting older, it makes such a big difference. And if you would do these same things, if I would do the same things what I do now when I was younger, I can't imagine what kind of results, like for example my own training, everything, how it would have impacted if I would live that kind of life. Of course, there is a other side of the story, like you can't prioritize everything all the time, and I believe that at some point, like I don't regret anything I have done in my life, and it's at some point, you have to also enjoy life, and it might mean that it's not at that time prioritizing your sleep is not going to be number one priority. It's having a fun collecting memories, but it's kind of what is the hardest part is to combine these both, and do like basically trying to do kind of everything, but without getting like obsessed. Like, 'cause at the moment, I feel like that I'm more kind of like an obsessed person especially for my sleep, because I know how it's impacting, and how I feel when I don't have it, and then it's just, for me at this point, it's just not worth of it to go out until 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. and because I know that it takes so long time. Like it was now, I think within the past year, we had that's like a month ago, went out with my friends somewhere, and I knew before going out that oh, this is it's only one day, like it's one Saturday, but once you do it, like I probably need like a 3 4 days to recover, and more or less it took those like maybe Wednesday after Saturday going out, Tuesday, Wednesday, I started to feel okay. And earlier it was like if it was just a one day Saturday evening, it was like maybe Sunday around 11, latest at 12. Midday you were feeling kind of okay, and if it was like really bad, then it took maybe until afternoon or evening. But Monday you didn't have any issues, or you didn't recognize anything. And of course, then if you went for out for Friday, Saturday, or even Sunday, then of course it took a bit longer, but never this kind of like that. It's a one day, and you feel it like for the next 3 days. So it's just the example. Sometimes it's okay, but sometimes it's now for me. It's just at this moment, at this point, it's just uh, more important for me to feel energized, because I want to be there for my clients, for my people, for my wife, and to show the best possible energy. And that means that I need to prioritize my sleep, and I feel just so much better. So it's not for those kind of short things, short-term wins or feeling good for a couple hours. It's not worth of it if you know that it causes then to feel worse for the next couple days. So let me start that why actually that sleep matters more than willpower. And let me be honest. So you can meal prep, you can track your food, you can exercise consistently. But if your sleep is off, your cravings will win. And it's not about you being weak or lazy. So it's simply biology. And there are, when we don't sleep enough, there are those two key hormones that get thrown out of balance, and they are called ghrelin and leptin. Maybe you have heard about them, but just I'm not going to talk too much about, but just to know what is actually happening. So why this is that there is a biological reason. So ghrelin is your hunger hormone. So it goes up with sleep deprivation. So when you are lacking of sleep, you are going to feel that leptin is going up, and it means that you are going to feel more hunger. And leptin is your fullness hormone, so it goes down when you are tired. So it's when you don't have enough sleep, you feel like in a both hormones they are moving into a wrong direction. So now your body is not only hungrier, it also doesn't feel as full as easily. So, and there is your recipe for cravings, and especially emotional eating. And to make things even worse, your brain craves fast energy like carbs, sugar, and processed foods, because it's trying to stay awake. And so it's not lack of willpower. It's your brain running low on fuel and trying to survive the day. So that is just what is actually happening. So it's not like if you think like a cravings, like most people, what I talk like that, there is just that they think that it's a willpower issue. I just don't have it. But if you often those people, when I asked that how is their sleep, and I said could be better, or I have issues, there might be some things like going on, like especially for women over 35, you might have uh, menopause, perimenopause symptoms. You are not like hot flashes or something. You are not able to sleep. You have a stressful situation in your family, in your work, and those are causing like that. Your sleep quality or quantity is not, even you try to prioritize it, it's not the same. And then you wonder that there is I don't have willpower, and because I have those cravings and I can't resist them. So there is something wrong with me. But it's actually the biology, and it's your brain running low on fuel and trying to survive today. So this is just a biology, what is actually happening in your body when you are not sleeping. So then, how is that? Like I mentioned, there is some connection between sleep and emotional eating. So if I think like many women I coach, they are telling me like that I'm doing fine during the day, but when evening hits, I start snacking even if I'm not hungry. And if this sounds familiar, that's because sleep deprivation doesn't just impact physical hunger, it affects your emotions too. So your stress tolerance goes down, your emotional regulation weakens, and so when something small happens, like your kids are arguing, you get some frustrating email or word or comments from your boss, or you are just feeling overwhelmed or even bored. So you are way more likely to turn to food for comfort. So sleep is like your emotional buffer. Without it, you are more reactive, more anxious, and food becomes your coping mechanism. And then now you might be thinking that how much sleep do I actually need? So there are several studies that are showing that most adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Of course, I have some people say that I'm totally fine with 6 hours, but if you look studies, there is actually it's very small percentage. Like I think it's around 1% of people, like, or even less, who can actually feel rested and survive with less than 7 hours sleep. So it is just a proven fact that it's even you might feel okay, but what kind of difference it would make if you get that at least at 7 hours, and some people needs 9 hours, and of course it depends. Like what I recognize for myself, like I go to sleep. I barely never use alarm or need it. I wake up when I wake up, but the reason how I actually do it is I have a very strict I'm very strict with myself that I try to go to bed at the same time between like around 10, latest 10:30, or I might go to bed even earlier. I read a little bit to calm myself down and get my thoughts away. And then when I start to feel tired, I put my book away, fell asleep. But if I look my sleep data, I have fell asleep between 10:30 p.m. most of the days, like every weekend included. And I wake up. It's now my average is around 7 hours of sleep during the winter time when there is less daylight. I sleep 7.5, 8 hours depending, but a little bit more during the summer. I just don't sleep. I think it's there is something to do. Of course, it's room temperature. I don't have an air conditioner, which obviously I know that it's not the most optimal way, but that's what it is at the moment situation. And during the winter when the room is cooler, I probably sleep better. Now also my quality is pretty good, or even with this even it's hot here. But those are just examples, like what is how it's impacting. And what also affects to your sleep, that if you are training hard, you are dieting, or you are trying to manage your stress, you might need even more recovery time. So now I know that life is busy. There is kids work, hormone stress, and it's not always realistic to sleep perfectly every night. But if you think that the goal is not perfection, it's awareness and small improvements. And if it's for most people, it means that you get started. If you want to improve your sleep, it's not that if you sleep now 5 hours or 5.5, 6 hours, that you suddenly start to sleep hour or 2 hours more. But if you get started with 15 minutes or 10 minutes, and then next week or in 2 weeks, you add another 15 minutes, you get 30 minutes, maybe even 60 minutes more sleep. And that can already have a huge impact on your cravings and improving your mood significantly, like amazing, or like more than you believe. Like it's for me. it's for me, if I think like my things like those what I already mentioned. If I have a stressful time busy period with the work or other stressful situations in a life that affects, and you are thinking, I'm thinking all kind of things overnight. How I try to do, like, okay, I try to journal them, I try to or talk them out, that they are away from my brain. If I have a lot of things to do, I write at night before I go to bed my to-do list. And so then once those things are away from your brain, it's you don't take those things with you to bedroom. Or if at some point I go to bed, I just can't fall asleep, or I can't sleep, or I wake up but can't fall asleep again, uh, I get up, get out from my bedroom, I go to couch or somewhere else, try to read a little bit, or listen some podcast, if I don't want to have too much light. So it's just that or something what is calming me down. And of course it's there are some studies like what I learned from Selby Harris, who was a guest a while ago, a couple of years ago in my podcast. And those were those powerful tips what I learned, that its bedroom is made for sleeping. And if you are spending time that you are not actually sleeping in bedroom, because it should be a sign like that bedroom is made only for sleep. I don't have my phone is never with me in my bedroom, so it's not that, because earlier when I slept, I said that I need it for my alarm, but then I bought a real alarm, and my phone is not in my bedroom, because earlier you were just that, oh, I just look a little bit my phone or something, and then more I realize that you are spending a lot more time, you might get again emotional, it's not calming you down, it actually wires you up even more, and it makes things even worse. So those kind of things, the bedroom, and there it should be meant only for sleeping, no TVs, no phones, nothing. And then also, of course, what I recognize, if I have a hard training, I'm playing ice hockey, or having some kind of my adrenaline is high late at night, it affects, of course, my sleeping, depending like if I eat heavier later at night. Those are all things. Or alcohol, if I drink more than even one portion of alcohol, if it's close to bedtime, that has a huge impact on my sleep quality. I might fall asleep faster, but quality is never going to be same. And if it's more than one portion, then its night is almost guaranteed already ruined. So those are like small things, like it's just becoming aware. And like I track I have my sport watch, what I love to look how is that watch. Of course they are not accurate 100%. It sometimes they show weird data, it's not always the honest truth, but you have a good idea what is actually happening, what things are uh, happening, what you are doing on daily basis, how they are, like just becoming aware what is actually going on, and then trying to improve. And of course, it's like I said, it's not about being perfect, but just making those small improvements, and more often than not, a little bit smarter decisions. So if I can give you like a five practical tips, that is what I personally do or try to do like most of the days. And these are also what I recommend for my clients. So uh, I recently set the bedtime alarm. So it's not just a morning alarm, but a reminder to go to bed, and that can make huge difference. So now I have in my phone, it's 9:45. There is a Apple phone. There is a bedtime that it gives a small signal and closes down all chats. There you don't get any notifications for new messages, anything. So you are in sleep mode. And this kind of thing that if you are watching your phone or Netflix or something, it's just a reminder that okay, now it's time to get started. Start your bedtime routine, and go to bed. And of course, sometimes it's I want to watch still another 10-15 minutes, but it's already. I realized that it's already there, that this is now it's time, and it's my kind of non-negotiable evening routine what I do. And then soon as this moment starts, I try to have no screens for me, if it's 9:45, and like I said, my ideal bedtime is or sleep time is um, uh 9:15 to 9 or 10 to 10:30. So if I get into a bed at 10, I read a little bit, and then I try to fall asleep. So of course that blue light, it messes up with the melatonin, and so for someone else is stretching or journaling, and those are kind of things what actually makes huge impact, because I'm sure you have heard about it, that though there is no screens or something. And I find it like that. It's not like phone is probably the worst. And if you watch like, especially if your living room, that there is not too much light, watching just some TV is not that bad as watching phone. So that is another thing. So then number three is your evening caffeine. So even if you fell asleep, that caffeine can reduce sleep quality. So for me, it's good rule is around 10 hours before bedtime. So at least, or could be even, if it's for some people, it's even more, but at least I would say 10 hours, or that kind of like. So it's for me, I drink coffee only early in the morning, and then maybe sometimes after lunch. So, but basically never after 2 p.m. It could be occasionally sometimes, but I never have, like in Italy, you have a weird habit for many people that they drink after dinner, still last espresso at 9 or 10 p.m. And that is actually, that's not very smart move for your sleep quality. And then like kind of that last dinner, so trying to aiming for like kind of balanced dinner, so mix of protein, fiber, healthy fats. So those are keeping your blood sugar stable, and they are supporting then better sleep. So that kind of like that, if you are eating like a heavy carbs later at night, it spikes your blood sugar. And of course those are not, then so many people like that, they tell to me that they can't later at night carbs, they try to avoid, or at least not, you don't need to completely, I don't completely avoid, but trying to keep them moderate level, and aiming for at least some protein, fiber, and healthy fats. And then like kind of last but not least is kind of creating your own calming routine. So dimming the lights, using sleep mask, or listening calm music or white noise to signal your body that it's time to unwind. Like for me, it's just going to bed, reading a book for a little bit, and that is calming my mind, and signaling my body that now it's time to go to sleep. So here are some final thoughts, what I and summary from this episode. So if you have been trying to control your cravings all day and wondering why it feels so hard, it might not be about your willpower at all. So fixing your sleep could be the missing piece. So instead of asking yourself that what's wrong with me, try asking, did I sleep enough? Did I recover? Because you are not broke, you are just tired, and tired brain crave comfort. So if this episode hit home for you, I would love to share it. And I would love you to share it with a friend, or leave a 5-star review. It helps more women hear this message. And if you want to help building habits that actually fit your life, including food, training, and yes, your sleep, you can learn about more from my coaching options at personaltrainerturo.com. And thank you so much for listening, and talk to you soon.
Hold up, friend. Do you love Fit Me Turo Fitness podcast? If so, the best way to say thank you is to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review on iTunes. I know every podcaster wants you to leave a review, but it's because those reviews help the podcast to reach more people. I truly want to know what you think And if this particular episode resonated with you, would you also please share it? Either send a link to someone who you think will find it valuable, or take a screenshot and post it into your social media and tell your friends and family why they should listen it. Make sure you tag me so I can hear your feedback and give you a little love. And if you aren't already following me on Instagram or TikTok, that's the perfect time to hit that follow button. Thank you for being here and listening to Fit Me Turo Fitness Podcast.